Long after Joseph's lad had gone, a new king rose with heart of stone. He saw our numbers, feared our name, so he made slaves and gave us shame. Under Balaam's son we bent and toiled, bricks and dust our labor bore. We will sing, we will stand, holding hope with a trembling hand. When fear runs wild and rulers harm, faith will guard us, faith will warn. Pharaoh's command was cold as night: throw every newborn boy from sight. Mothers trembled, tears fell like rain, hearts in chains, suffering and pain. But Shiphrah and Puah would not obey. They held God's law above the king's way. We will sing, we will stand, holding hope with a trembling hand. When fear runs wild and rulers harm, faith will guard us, faith will warn. Those women birth before we come, they spoke with courage, steady, calm. God saw their fear of him and stayed. He blessed their homes for choosing brave. Though Pharaoh tried to crush our voice, we kept our children, chose to rejoice. In darkest days a promise grows: God protects the seed he sows. We will sing, we will stand, holding hope with a trembling hand. When fear runs wild and rulers harm, faith will guard us, faith will warn. We will sing, we will stand, holding hope with a trembling hand. When fear runs wild and rulers harm, faith will guard us, faith will warn. Courage lights the darkest night. Small brave hearts can change the shadow danger grew. Pharaoh's law brought fear anew. A mother cradled her newborn son, hid him where the daylight shone. 3 quiet months she kept him near, prayers like whispers, trembling fear. Trusting God where waters flow. A princess walking by the shore heard a cry she could ignore no more. loved him most. The princess kept him for her own, yet by his mother's care was grown. Hold on, hold fast through night and tide. Small hands of hope will not be denied. Mercy finds a weary heart. One brave act can change the star. They named him Moses, drawn from the wave. A life preserved, a life to save. From hidden cradle future grows, a river's mercy no one knows. Hold on, hold fast through night and tide. Small hands of hope will not be denied. Mercy finds a weary heart. One brave act can change the stars. Among his people, saw their silent cry. An Egyptian struck a Hebrew, anger flared inside. He stood to stop the hurting, a sudden hand was thrown. A life was lost, the secret known. He had to leave his home. Run to the desert, find a quiet place. Leave behind the danger, seek a kinder space. Wrong turns bring hard lessons, mercy heals the brave. In patience and in service, God prepares the way. He crossed the burning desert, footsteps soft on sand. Reached the shady well in Midian's open land. Daughters drew the water, shepherds pushed them out. Moses rose to help them chase the trouble round about. Who are you, kind stranger? asked the eldest with a smile. I'm far from home and weary, may I rest a while? Their father welcomed Moses, offered food and stay. He tended flocks at evening and learned a humbler way. He married gentle Zipporah, her laughter eased his years. In quiet days and shepherd's trails, he found new hope, not fears. Run to the desert, find a quiet place. Leave behind the danger, seek a kinder space. shepherd watched his sheep, wind across the desert, the world in quiet sleep. A bush burned bright with fire that never turned to ash. Moses stepped a little closer, startled by the flash. Here I am, the voice declared, come near and hear my name. I have seen my children cry, I know their hurt and shame. I will send you, do not fear, I'll walk with you each day. When God calls softly through the flame, His power shows the and promise choice. I will be your choice. A staff became a serpent, then returned into his hand. A healed and changed forefingers showed God's power on the land. Say I am has sent you, Aaron will go too. I'll guide your words, I'll lead the way, and I will be with you. He trembled with his calling, his courage small and thin, yet bowed beneath the holy fire and felt resolve begin. A shepherd turned to leader, a voice to free the chain. God equips the fearful heart and gives a plan again. Here I am, the voice declared, come near and hear my name. I have seen my children cry, I know their hurt and shame. I will send you, do not fear, I'll walk with you each day. When God calls softly through the flame, His power shows the way. When God calls, He equips the weak to stand and serve the strong. Step out with faith, obey His voice, He'll lead you all along. When God calls softly, when God calls softly. Go to Pharaoh, say let Israel go. Moses bowed and Aaron rode, as they walked to the palace gate with trembling breath, to speak for those in bondage, to speak for life, not death. Let my people go, the Lord has said. Stand firm in faith, though the road is dread. When kings say no and hearts are cold, God's voice is strong, His promise holds. Pharaoh laughed and answered, who is this Lord? He hardened his heart and tightened the cord. Taskmasters beat and the bricks piled high. The people groaned and wondered why. Moses knelt and questioned, why send me here? Our burdens grow, our hope seems near. God whispered steady, I am with you still. I'll act in power by my sovereign will. Aaron cast his staff it became a snake, a sign for the court, a wonder to make. Yet Pharaoh's pride would not bend or bow. Stubborn in heart, he answered, "Not now. Let my people go. The Lord has said, stand firm in faith, though the road is dread." When kings say no and hearts are cold, God's voice is strong, his promise old. Though doors were closed and the road seemed long, Moses found courage and faith grew strong. God would lead by wonders, by word and hand, to free his people and bring them to the land. Let my people go. The Lord has said, stand firm in faith, though the road is dread. When kings say no and darkness looms, trust in the Lord, he breaks all tools. So back, stand brave, the promise lights the way. Go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Moses and Aaron stood where the winds blow. Pharaoh scoffed and hardened his heart. He chose his pride and would not depart. Signs and wonders, power on display. God's hand moving in a mighty way. Trust and follow, heed the call. Mercy shelters those who trust through all. The river ran red, the water turned wrong. Frogs filled the houses with croaks and song. Dust became gnats that flew and stung. Flies from the city, a misery sprung. Sickened the herds, the sores brought pain. Thunder and hail beat down the grain. Locusts like shadows swept green to bare. Darkness fell heavy, a thick midnight air. Signs and wonders, power on display. God's hand moving in a mighty way. Trust and follow, heed the call. Mercy shelters those who trust through all. Mark your door with the Lamb's red sign. Stay inside tonight, the judgment will pass by. Families waited, hearts bowed low. A promise kept for those who know. Final sorrow touched the king's own home. Firstborns taken, Pharaoh felt alone. At last he cried, go, leave now, flee. Midnight steps marched toward the sea. Signs and wonders, power on display. God's hand moving in a mighty way. Trust and follow, heed the call. Mercy shelters those who trust through all. When pride resists and hearts grow cold, God's truth truth is clear, His story told. Choose faith over fear, obey and stand. God rescues those who reach His hands. You cook a lamb spotless, the Lord explained. Protect your home, so none are claimed. Paint the door with blood and stay inside. Eat in haste, be ready to ride. Passover, Passover, when night draws near. Trust and obey, God's promise clears the fear. From bondage to mourning, His people go free. Remember the night when God spared me. Roasted lamb, bitter herbs, and bread unpuffed. Families gathered, urgency rough. Sandals on feet, cloaks wrapped tight. A holy hush across the night. Shadows moved in Pharaoh's land, an unseen hand. But marked doors glowed and were kept from that command. Morning rose in palaces, sorrow and cry, while Israel watched the dawn and answered, we fly. Passover, Passover, when night draws near. Trust and obey, God's promise clears the fear. From bondage to mourning, His people go free. Remember the night when God spared me. Pharaoh cried, go, leave now, be gone. They took gold and bread at first light on. The Lord declared, keep this each year. Teach your children the night I drew near. Passover, Passover, keep faith alive. Tell the story so future hearts thrive. Obey the call, trust God's saving hand. We stand as heirs of that promised land. Remember the night faith and obedience saved. A simple sign that turned a captive to the brave. then stepped into the dawn. Bred without rising cloaks and sandal style, a people move like rivers, leaving fear behind. Rise up, go forth, trust the hand that leads. From chains to morning, faith supplies the needs. Remember the night, tell the children true, God's rescue came and carries me and you. Door frames marked in paint kept steady household flame. Inside they gathered quiet, calling out God's name. Torches cut the darkness as families passed by. The Nile watched them walking toward a brighter sky. No banners yet, but hope held every stride. Elders, mothers, children, walking side by side. The past lay in the dust where sorrow used to stand. They moved by promise, not by their own hand. At first light came the promise, treasures in their hands, golden bread and freedom. As they left old lands, they walked in trembling wonder, learning to obey. A night to shape their memory and guide them on their way. Rise up, go forth, trust the hand that leads. From chains to morning, faith supplies the needs. Remember the night, tell the children true, God's rescue came and carries me and you. Obey, remember, keep the story given. Trust the God who leads from bondage into heaven. Obey, remember, keep the story given. Trust the God who leads from bondage into heaven. Dawn broke hard, the army came, chariots on the plain. Behind them iron thunder, before them open main. We stood with hearts like thunder, no path we could find. Why did you bring us here? The fearful voices cried. Stand still and see the Lord, He makes a way where none can be. Trust and lift your eyes, He parts the sea. Walk through walls of water, step on dry, safe sand. God delivers by His hand. Moses raised the shepherd's staff, the wind began to blow. A lane of shining water, two walls of tide and flow. We crossed with feet unbroken, the seabed firm and wide. Children laughed and elders prayed as we passed through to the side. Stand still and see the Lord, He makes a way where none can be. Trust and lift your eyes, He parts the sea. He parts the sea, walk through walls of water, step on dry, safe sand. God delivers by His hand. the far shore we bowed and sang, the people's song rang clear. The Lord has fought for Israel, we shouted without fear. From chains to trusting footsteps, from panic into praise, we learned to tell the story of God's mighty way. Stand still and see the Lord, He makes a way where none can be. Trust and lift your eyes, He parts the sea. He parts the sea, walk through walls of water, step on dry, safe sand. God delivers by His hand. When fear surrounds and roads are closed, remember what God planned. Obey, believe, and watch Him move. He makes a way by hand. Watch the sea, our backs to sand, the army's dust behind. Fear filled our hearts, we could not see a way to leave or find. Then Moses raised his steady hand and spoke to dry the sea. God rolled the waters, made a road, and set His people free. Sing to the Lord, our strength, our song. He fought for us and turned the wrong. Lift up your voice and clap your hands. He leads us with His mighty plans. Horse and rider fell like dreams that fade at morning light. The waves stood tall like glass and then returned with mighty might. We stepped across the seabed path with footprints in the sand. Safe on the far shore, we saw the work of God's great hand. Sing to the Lord, sing to our strength, our song. Sing and dance. He fought for us and turned the wrong. Lift up your voice and clap your hands. He is glorious. He leads us with His mighty plans. Moses sang of victory, his voice bold, sure and free, of God who storms the nations and who saves His family. We remember what was done and tell it to our young, how fear was turned to worship, how praise became our song. Sing to the Lord, our strength, our song. He fought for us and turned the wrong. Lift up your voice and clap your hands. He leads us with His mighty plans. Sing to the Lord, sing to our strength, our song. Sing and dance. He fought for us and turned the wrong. Lift up your voice and clap your hands. He is glorious. He leads us with His mighty plans. When God delivers, hearts will sing. Trust and praise the King.